Less than 3.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. We're here once again. Took a week off, kinda. Chewy was here last Saturday, but it's been a good week to refresh. Happy October, all hex. How you doing? I am Karcha. Thank you for the 23 months. Freaking insane. Freaking nuts. Allhex gifting 5 subs, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that, dude. Yeah, we're back. We're gonna be back with streams might be a little bit different over the next couple weeks. We're gonna be trying some things out. If you haven't been here over the past month, we've been talking about how we are wanting to maybe change things up a little bit. Just to get something just a little bit different that's maybe a little bit more impactful, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the board that I'm building today. You can see it here. The Zephyr is in the box and everything. This is kind of like even though this board isn't really popular anymore, it was kind of a really big release, especially at the time that it came out. To the point where even like I remember seeing Gateron had these boards, Zephyrs, built on display at like tech shows where they were showing off their switches and they were using Zephyrs to show them off. It's a board done by Zeal. This was it the first one he did? I think it was the first one he did. It's got some interesting things to it, some interesting quirks that aren't really done before, or aren't really done anymore. Whether or not that's for good or for bad, that's kind of up to personal opinion. Some very interesting choices that haven't really stood the test of time, but it definitely gives you a little bit of a blast from the past, and is a really nice board, especially when you consider how old it is. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. So if you're not familiar with this board, when did this even come out? I think it was like it was like 2017, 2018. This is early 2018 was when the group buy happened. For everyone that's mad at Chewy for not being a fan of 65%, this right here is the board to blame. The Zephyr was, I think, one of, if not the only 65% that Chewy had purchased for himself. He bought it on Black Friday 2018. They had like a B-stock units. There was like 2. He got one, I believe, actually Quakeums from Topclat got the other. But yeah, great unboxing experience, especially when you consider it's over 3 years old at this point. Got your nice little tiny band roll, fancy box. There's a little Wilbatech PCB. Everything's got a little pull tab. PCB is a little bit difficult to get out of this because it's like sandwiched in here, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out. We'll get it out. These are the switches we're using today. These are some Holy Pandas. That's what we're going to be using today. These have been lubed with some other things that maybe aren't as popular in the community as well. These are Halo Clear stems, B-Sun housing, or Jesus housings, not B-Sun. Lightly lubed with Cristo 129. Cristo Lube 129. Come on. As well as this has a 78.5 gram spring, lubed with VPF 1514. So there's a bunch of interesting stuff going on here with these. So I'm excited to try this out. And then let's get this Zephyr out of here. Obviously, let's take a look. Let's appreciate the attention to detail. You've got slots for your stab wires to make sure that they don't get damaged in shipping. This was back when OG Zeal stabs first kind of came out. And get my little petri dish. My switches. Oh my God, it really is 3 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that it's been that long. Zeal 65, great PCB, by the way. Not really readily available. I don't think it ever necessarily... I think it was for a short time. Very similar to the Zeal 60. Basically, almost a carbon copy with just slightly larger. But this is a Wilba PCB. Looks nice. You've got everything marked, which is really nice. Where it goes, what it is. So. And then this is the board. Actually, let's get the rest of this stuff out. Let's get all this little out. And then gotta like flex this out way. This fancy little box. Great packaging overall, especially when you consider it's 3 years. You know, this was a time when boards were just shipping in random brown boxes or just in foam, like packing foam from the manufacturer. So let's take this apart. Let's see. Oh, get you close. Nice PVD brass plate and weight. See, look at the camera. Right there. There's the light. There's the other light. There's me. But through my yeah, PVD brass, which is something that is not done as much now as well. This was really big at the time. It felt like everything was trying. It felt like it was kind of the coating of choice for a lot of boards. Led to some issues with different group buys, as well as even including the future Xeno that Zeal did, or well, I guess some instances is still doing. But yeah. How much was this board at the time? I remember this being relatively expensive. Let's see. Yeah, $550 plus shipping. And we haven't even gotten to what is quite possibly the most polarizing point of the board that is very much not done anymore. And that's gonna have to do with the plate, which, if you're not familiar with the Zephyr, this has a plate that provides a very specific typing feel, and that you have to be a certain person to enjoy, to say the least. What's up, everyone, up to this Saturday morning, early afternoon for you, depending on where you're at in the world. A lot of screws on the bottom here. Holy crap. Has anyone in chat owned a Zephyr? Anyone in chat had spent time with the Zephyr and know what I'm talking about when I say it's... All right, let's get that box. And okay. Oh. Okay. This is the plate. Yes, it is in fact that thick. Which, come on. Yeah, 5mm brass plate. This is pretty heavy. Just on its own, this is pretty heavy. When Dave and I were talking earlier this morning, he's like, "Oh, good luck with the build stream." I was like, "Thanks, my dude." He goes, "Yeah, just don't drop the plate." Because yes, it is absolutely massive. I don't think you couldn't get a flex out of this if you tried. You would have to use some additional help or be a very strong person. It is definitely a chonker of a plate. And this was kind of one of the defining features of the Zephyr, was this thick brass plate, providing a very, very stiff typing feel, which is something that, you know, really isn't sought after quite as much, at least not to this level. We don't see people playing with plate thicknesses as much anymore. This was something that kind of, you know, sparked some things in the community. Obviously, you had around the same time like the M60A, which has a similarly thick integrated plate, which has been, I guess, significantly more successful than the Zephyr is in terms of like its impact in the community and like overall notoriety. But yeah, this thing is a chunk and a half. Outside of integrated plates, this is the thickest plate I've ever built in a keyboard. There is some attention to detail in it to make sure that this board does not fail on you or the plate come dislodged from the switches. I don't know if I can show this. See if I can get it to focus. See how there's those little notches in each switch hole? That's so the switches actually seat in properly, because it's, you know, switches aren't made like a plate mount switch is not made to be in something this thick. So if you didn't have those, it would just kind of be mushed in there, and it wouldn't be seated properly. You know, if you're looking at an MX switch that you've got at home, you've got those little nubs. It's hard to show on here, but little nubs there. Easier to see on this side. Those little nubs, these little guys, if those don't seat in, then the switch it's a little bit easier for it to pop in and out. So with those, this thing is this is going to be a fun one. I forgot how tight these plates are, but let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. We're doing a pretty simple layout today. One thing that's really beneficial about this board, the plate's so thick, you don't have to worry about using like anchor switches. The plate, it will figure it out. Plate's not going to bend. Really just make sure the PCB is there. Which, all in all, great PCB for what it is worth. I believe these are Duroc. Here. Backspace, normal caps. Let's go. These Duroc V2s. They are, in fact, the Duroc V2s. Interesting. This will be, surprisingly enough, the first time I've used the Duroc V2s with a little additional, hard to see there, a little hook to make sure that things don't come undone. Lang would love to grill a steak on that and then melt it. True. Agreed. It would make some interesting grill marks with all the switch cutouts. Oh man. Anyone doing anything fun this weekend? It's a little it's not the temperature. 78. As I say, it's a little bit humid. Rained some yesterday here. But it's not too bad outside. It's pretty nice. What was this YouTube video that you linked, Hex? The Anthony Fick. Oh. Man. It's hard to believe it's already October. This year has flown by like crazy. Not even in June. Dun, dun. This year has flown by. Definitely been a much better year, even though, like personally, even though things may not have been good globally. Personally, I've had a better year. Hopefully that is true for all of you in chat as well. Luckily, this is easy. We've only got 3 stabs. What is some stuff that y'all are looking for? What are some group buys that you're looking to get into this month? I know we've got some now that it is a new month. Just here on the 2nd, so we've got some new heavy hitters. DMG round 3 over at Omnitype. Maybe the cage. Nice. Is anyone picking up DMG round 3? God, I should probably drink less coffee or consume some food before I stream Saturdays. My hands are shaky ace AF. Your boy could not be a surgeon. Cloudline, 2 sets of white on black red Cyrillic yesterday. Damn. Really excited. I'm gonna go see Chewy Dave in Abracadaniel tomorrow, or tonight, actually. We're gonna meet up. I got some stuff to give him, as well as I want to try out the polycarb baka, which, if you're not familiar with that, those just came in this past week, and Dave's really excited about them. I'm excited to try it out. Yeah, so they got to go through quality control and packing and all that. Excuse me. So those should be shipping out soon. So if you purchased a polycarb baka 60, it'll take a little bit to get through everything, but next couple weeks you should see those start to move, start to get on their way. Sam Pack, what up? How you doing? One drunk man? Yes, exactly. Exactly that. How's my Saturday going? It is going well, man. How about yourself? Are you having a fantastic Saturday as well? I'm hoping that it doesn't get ruined here a couple hours after stream, depending on how the Oklahoma-Kansas State game goes. For those of y'all who are not into sports ball, Oklahoma's had a rough go at it the last couple of years against Kansas State. Hopefully Oklahoma doesn't lose. Catching up on a lot of the subathon giveaways. Dude, that's always a bear. Pirateship.com's your best friend. And set up an account there. It lets you do everything. And then you just print out your labels and take it to the post office and be done with it. Pretty solid. Yeah, I am an Oklahoma fan. I am, in fact, a Oklahoma Sooner fan. It's my dad's fault. He went there. My mom didn't, but according to the university, because she's the one that writes checks to them when they give money to like the band and stuff, they think she went there too. But that's just because they donate money to different portions of the university. For those in chat, do you know is there any other difference in the Duroc V2 stabs other than the little hook on for the wires? Did they tighten up these tolerances a little bit? It doesn't feel like they did. Because my biggest gripe with the Duroc V1s is they feel and sound great at first, but then they don't have the same longevity because there's so much play in the actual insert versus the housing. There's so much play there that it over time it starts to rattle. Feels like crap. And it's like the wires too. I don't know if the wires are a different size. I don't know. I find myself continually going back to the Cherry style, the GMK, either screw ins or. Damn, should have. Okay. Smarugula. That's an interesting name. Interesting name. I agree. GMK screw-ins are pog. Yeah. Especially if you can get some like older ones that don't have the wire issues. Definitely worth. Guys, I know it's been out for forever. I finally watched Endgame. Avengers Endgame. I'm only like 3 years late, but I finally watched it. Did I see Walker's keyboard science video on stab modding? No, I didn't. Does he do something like super different or like something that makes me look like an idiot? Dude, yeah, right? Finally watched it. I just don't find myself wanting to watch movies. Spend most of my free time doing stuff for keyboards, playing video games, or watching other people play video games. Like most of the content that I consume is either Twitch or YouTube at this point. Like I get impatient watching a lot of like TV and stuff. I don't know. I really appreciate the social interaction of playing video games. I don't consider myself like a traditional gamer. Like I don't play single player games. I'm more of like an esports gamer, I guess you could say. I only play like Overwatch, Apex. Just started playing this game Splitgate. It's kind of, it's not like the greatest game ever, but it's one of those things. It's like kind of like Halo. Just fun to pass the time. It's fun to just, hang out with some friends, not take it too seriously, kind of joke around with each other, It's got some really bad mechanics, but other than that, it's pretty good. Show that GMK stabs have this plastic left over inside the stab stem, which helps the wire snugly fit inside. For sure. I feel like that's why wires don't have like a weird tapping issue on GMK like they do on these Duroc stabs. He replicated this Duroc stabs by burning a hole to the left and the right side of the stem using, oh my god. Yeah, I'm not going to do that on stems that are not mine. That would be definitely a fun test. Walker has been known to do some interesting and crazy stuff for the sake of getting the best quality board out there. That also seems like it could go very wrong very quickly. What's funny is these have this little hook and they don't feel any more secure. Like when popping it in, this feels just as not secure. Hi, friend. I was just talking about how we started playing Splitgate. How are you doing? I'm sad you didn't come hang out with us last night. We got a pretty decent dub in Apex. Thank you for the tier 1 for 22 months, Brian. Appreciate it. Budget Halo. Agreed. Splitgate is budget Halo, but you know what? I'm okay with it. They need to severely reconsider the mechanics of the actual portals. But other than that, it's a fun game. It's fun to pass the time, especially when you play a bunch of other games that are more frustrating and serious. It's cool to have a game that's just fun. Planned on it, just fell into other things. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll be around. I'm going over to Dave's to hang out for a bit, but I'll be back. I won't be there too long, I think. We don't have like all night plans. Anything. Noob, thank you for the tier 1 for 18 whole months. Appreciate it. Has some serious balance issues, but otherwise it's pretty good. Yeah, exactly. You also I think it is budget Halo, but you can't treat it like Halo. Like you have to, especially depending on the game mode. If you're not going to use the TPs, you got to use your TPs to cuck the other team out of using theirs. Way more action than Halo. Yeah, it is a little bit faster. The one thing that gets me repeatedly is the slight delay on using your jetpack. You press spacebar too early, it just doesn't work. I want it to be instant. What games are y'all playing? Chat. Are there games that you're into? Games that I should check out? I'll act like I'm going to check them out, and then I totally won't. We talking Apex Legends? No, but I have been playing that, Keeb Noob. I've been Started playing that a couple weeks ago. I hadn't really played Apex since it came out. Played a little bit with Dave and his wife when it first released. And some friends that because that was back when I was on an Overwatch team. Played with some guys from that, but been enjoying it. Slapex legumes. Dude. What do you play in Apex, L? What is your character of choice? And what is your loadout of choice? You have a favorite gun that you enjoy using? Bloodhound and Valkyrie. Nice. A lot of people are running Valkyrie right now. Seems to be the play. Just unlocked Crypto recently. I kind of like him because I'm more passive. I feel you. Apex is definitely very punishing too. Like, that's one thing that I've noticed. So as I start playing it, is that I want to peek wide and take an aim duel. It's a problem I have with all battle royale games, is that I'm used to playing things like Counter-Strike or Overwatch, where if you peek and you get the jump on someone, you're more than likely winning the duel. Whereas with Apex, that doesn't really kind of translate as well. Favorite gun is Spitfire, EVA 8, Flatline Bolt. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the L-Star right now. L-Star's pretty nuts. I had a couple good games. L-Star, EVA 8. Trying to learn how to play Gibby. Little Gibraltar. Action. Boom, boy, howdy. And Dax, thank you. Appreciate it. As well as Tiny K-Man. Appreciate the follow. Hey, guys. Or gals. Or whatever. Oh yeah, All-Star right now is good. Love the chaos. True. Yeah, you definitely feel like you're running slower. I have definitely noticed that about the fat man. And I joke around when I play. I'm like, I'm fat and slow. Catch up here in a second. That's mainly because my boy's out there running on fucking octane, going 3,000 miles an hour. It's like, how am I supposed to catch up with you? Stop playing Apex because it felt repetitive and he felt no improvement. I could definitely see that. That's the hardest thing about playing a lot of these games, is because they are fairly repetitive. And that's why I don't understand how, like, especially a lot of the streamers play like 14, 15 hours a day. They do regularly 14-hour streams. And I'm like, I couldn't play this game that long. Like, there's not enough variance in the game. Still love Thick Boy Gibby and Caustic. Caustic. Have you played arenas lately? I've never played arenas. But that's like, I mean, that same reason why you stopped playing Apex, Tiny K-Man, is why Wakems and I are kind of falling away from Overwatch. It's because there's just nothing, there's no content, and everything feels the same. And it's like, we wait 10 minutes for a 5-minute game, which even when you win, it still feels like a loss. Because you're just chilling. I can never do a full day stream. It seems impossible. Yeah. I mean, a 12-hour stream's really not that bad. Like it's actually, it's like easy to do if you have it planned out. If you have what you're going to do planned out, but poor OW. Yeah, Overwatch is kind of a shit show right now. But we'll see. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully. Since Jeff Kaplan left, it's been kind of mellow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily because Jeff left. It's more because they're working on OW2. I mean, we were still kind of scuffed before Jeff left. This plate is so obnoxious. Dude. Good lord. There's like, what's funny is, you know, people, they typically will put like some foam. You know, it's very common these days to put some foam between the plate and the PCB. There is literally no room for it here. Because this plate and PCB are fucking one. They are, look at that, 0 space. Come on. It is like 0 space. Okay. 5mm thick boy. I love foam and tape mod, but that is mega thick. She thick. This is like Gibby thick. Little preview of what we're going to be running today. That wise. The only problem here is I got to make sure that I'm not hearing like rattling between the plate and the PCB. Yeah, it's going to be loud, Brian. All right. We good. We're good. These stabs are feeling good. They sound good. I can clean the Dragon Ball Z off of this brush. That's the other piece about the 5mm thick boy plate. It's loud as fuck. Would you say, for Brian, since you were around when this board came out, and long before this board came out, would you say this is kind of like a classic board at this point? I don't know if it's a classic in like in a good way, but I definitely feel like it is somewhat of a classic board. Honestly, no, I wouldn't. I opened up the stream talking about how this was kind of like a pivotal board, especially at the time. Like it was a very high-end board. It isn't old enough to me to be a classic. I feel you there. I just remember seeing like a Gatoron press conference. I think it was at like CES one year, and they had like 4 Zephyrs built at a CES event, and I was like, Oh shit. We like matter. They're like showing us off. We are gonna, even though we probably don't really need it. Yeah, Zeal was there. Yeah, it's really cool to see that. Granted, we haven't really seen that since. Also, I got a new mouse, guys. Got a G Pro X Superlight. I like it. It's good. It's very light and wireless, finally. I also took out the little puck thingy, so it's even lighter. I got a new mouse pad too, but I'm using this. I don't know about classic. To me, it's ugly, but beautiful as well. I think if I could, and I doubt Zeal would agree with this, but if I could go back and change one thing about this board, it would be to remove all of the PVD brass. PVD brass is just kind of a fucking shit show. I don't know if you can see on stream, but like you can see all the machine marks. It's just way less forgiving. Imagine G Pro Superlight with a honeycomb shell. Honestly, I don't really like honeycomb shell mice. I am not a fan. During this time, though, PVD was the hotness. It was. That was another thing I brought up, is that how PVD was like the shit. And that's changed. I was like, there's so many things on this board that were like really sought after at the time. The plate, PVD, the layout. Yeah, it just didn't age. And if I remember correctly, you got the other one on the Black Friday sale that they had, right? Because I know Dave got one of them and then you got the other one, I think. Because this is the board that ruined 65% for Dave. This is where the meme started of I got an A stock silver. Yeah. Because I think he got a B stock blue. If I remember right. And that was like the only two that there were. I'm going to bring Brock's Jades to the library because I'm a menace to society. Damn, son. Props to you for going to the library. 1. 2, man. Feel bad for all your friends and family. All the kids in the class. And that's why we use. They love me there. Only shiny thing I want on my board is a GMK set. Dude, it's funny. Chewy's was selling, I think he might, I don't know if he still has it, but he was selling some keycap sets. He's selling GMK Minimal, which, keep in mind, is like a 2-year-old set. And people were like, why is it so shiny? He's like, it's 2 years old. Like, I've used it. Like, I get it, you want something brand new, but it's going to be hard to find a 2-year-old set brand new in box. There's not many people that just keep them in box. Is that a Bauer on your desk? Yes, it is a Bauer 1. It is not the Bauer 2. It is a Bauer 1. The OG Bauer with a palm plate. Which is a little bit different, but I do very much enjoy that. You have like 5 minutes to take a break from the build. I mean, what do you mean? Sure. What's going on, dude? What do you need? I may not need to actually take a break from the build. Artilio's overpriced. I mean, okay. In terms of the value proposition, of Telios versus like literally any JWK linear, they are probably a little bit overpriced. But if you think about it in the fact that you're talking about maybe a $10 overall difference between, or maybe $20 overall difference in switches for a board that you probably spent $300 to $400, if not more, dollars on, buy the Telios if you want the Telios. Like, it's worth it. Like, it's worth it just to get what you want. Because then you'll always be wondering, like, what if? Like, what would it have been if I got Telios? Like, I would definitely buy some and try them out. See if you enjoy the Telios. Dr. Doofin, I'm unfortunately not interested right now in a magic trick. I'm sorry, my guy. Maybe another time. I feel like they're overpriced considering what's on the market, but they weren't always. Yeah, exactly. But it's the same conversation we've had before, Brian, about like, what's the difference between spending additional 20, 30 cents per Switch if you really enjoy the Switch? Now, should you try something else and see? Yes. Like, I would definitely recommend trying out like Lavender's. That's a great linear Switch. I know people are really hot on the Aqua Kings right now. But yes, Brian, you were the person that argued that with me. It was the same reason why I spent $100 on or $150 on a mouse, because I was like, I have a keyboard that in reality is worth at least $1,000 on my desk, and I'm planning on spending $150 on something that I will literally use every single day for multiple years. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy the mouse. Just gonna buy the mouse. If Brian has taught me anything, it's about value. Spend money on the things you're gonna use. Save money on things that you might not use as much. Yeah. Same reason you can spend $100 more on a GPU. You get 200% more performance out of your gaming PC if the overall budget is like $600. Yeah. Also, people like, this is a wild thing to say, and I get it's hard to do, but sometimes you should just wait. Like, just wait. Because you know it's worse than being broke? Well, not worse. But you know it also sucks? Just like spending all of your money on something? is spending a bunch of money on something and then buying it over again to get the thing that you really wanted. Just wait and save the money and buy what you really want in the first place. That's my outlook on things. Is just wait. Buy it. If you have, like, buy once, cry once. Exactly. Like, it is overall cheaper for you to buy exactly what you want, even though it may cost more, than it is for you to settle for something and then end up buying this thing you wanted in the first place later down the road. Like, GMK sets, for instance. If you're looking at it and you have the money and you're like, man, I don't know if I want this. But you're like, in your head, you're like, I really like this. Just buy it. Because the worst thing that could happen, it comes out, you're really upset, and then you can't get it, or you got to spend like $400 on it. Granted, the things might be changing a little bit now, but still. Or like, you're waiting for, like, you want a Mechanisk board, and you're like, oh, I'll settle for a Tofu. Tofu's a great board. Definitely recommend it. But if you can just wait, then just wait. You got a bunch of boards, just hang out for a little bit. Brian is the wise one, the enlightened one. I think one of the beauties of this hobby is that things don't really lose value. Now, I don't think they should gain as much value as they have in recent history, but it has been something of a trait of the community for an extremely long time that things generally hold value. It's not like a car where you buy it and then drive it off a lot. Now it's worth half of what it was. You know that video of the guy bringing his Razer keyboard to school? Besides the fact I'm scared to bring yours. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily bring mine to school. If you have a board that you're like, it's like a more of a travel, like a smaller board, I wouldn't bring something that's crazy to school. Like, I'm 29 now, and let's be real, the times that you showed off in high school or college, they don't mean jack shit now. They may mean something then, but at the grand scheme of things, like the show off moments, it doesn't matter. No one cares in 5 years. But I would say if you want to take something to school, maybe grab something that's a little bit less expensive, maybe something that you're not as upset if someone takes it or breaks it for whatever reason. Something that's not going to absolutely break your heart. Something that you'll be a little bit upset about, but it's not going to, be something you can't ever get again. But, so the Zoomers out there, whenever you try to flex on your friends, it's not going to matter in 5 years. No one's going to. Maybe hard to believe, but no one's gonna care. Are we perfect on the amount of switches we have? Origate Technologies. What up? How you doing? You know, didn't really leave me with a lot of options here. Owner of this board. If one of these switches, granted they're probably not messed up. I brought my mouse to school and I'm never doing it again. I didn't bring it to Flex, just use my Chromebook. So yeah, no, I definitely understand. There are definitely people who are just, they want to take it because they want to, you know, they enjoy it. I'm not saying that you specifically are trying to flex. It's just I know that I've talked to a couple of people who are younger in the hobby that are in like high school age, and they're looking to things specifically to like flex on their friends. And I'm just like, all right, you don't need to do that. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it is metal rectangle. Have you talked yet? Yes, I did talk about how it is the heaviest plate that I've ever held. Nice, you're lubing some holy pandas. You know, I think we might need some plate foam in here, Brian. I don't know how we'll fit it in, but I think we should get some plate foam. I think there's like a mil of space. And by mil, I mean like the mil, not like millimeter, but like mil, M-I-L, which is a thinner. It's like what finishes are measured in. You try the KBD fans switch pads. What's funny is that this board might actually benefit from having some sort of a gasket between the plate and the PCB. Or like if you could use the like those switch films, the gasket switch films. That would be interesting if you made the PCB with just like a gasket around the actual, like between the PCB and plate. Just because this is so loud, this is going to be obnoxious. But let's solder it so we can get into putting it together and all about that metal on metal. What's funny is you could probably gasket mount this. Like, because it is a sandwich mount, it would be relatively easy to get this to a gasket mount conversion. If you had like some really expert skill with like a Dremel, just Dremel some gasket channels. You'd have to build like a jig or something to make sure you don't fuck it up. But it's very doable. Not allowed, Brian. You have to stay here the entire time. Excited for your KBD pad. Origate, is this your first time using? I just like gleeked everywhere. Is this your first time using Holy Pandas for your KBD pad? Also, that's a word that I haven't used or heard in a while. For a term. Gleek. I have Holy Pandas on your GMMK Pro. Nice. How do you like your GMMK Pro? Honestly, I don't like the metal heavy feel or the metallic scratchiness either, but it's preference. You're talking about the metal plate? It's funny because I feel like brass is still king. In terms of like when you look at more high-end oriented boards, brass is still king. Aluminum's definitely still very popular. And then there's obviously, you know, polycarb, FR4, palm. And leading up the caboose is probably carbon fiber. Which is kind of like, I need a carbon fiber plate. I need to spend more time with a carbon fiber plate. From my understanding, it provides like almost like a aluminum feel, but without the ping. Someone in chat can correct me if I'm wrong there. I have not spent enough time with carbon fiber. Obviously, carbon fiber is such a strong material. You can, like a metal plate, you can play with the way that it's got cutouts and stuff to make it more flexible and not sacrifice the rigidity. Call me a hypocrite, but you do like brass plates. Nice. I enjoy brass plates as well. Brass and palm are my two favorite. I have an aluminum board. I have a polycarb plate, an FR4 in my Bach and Neko. That's why I really need to try out carbon fiber. Fully modded GMMK Pro brass plate, Holy Pandas, PE foam, Durag V2 stabs, and additional gaskets for KBD fans. Nice, man. See, that's cool to see. I love people getting in the door with something like a GMMK Pro and then trying to take it to the fullest extent and really getting invested in the community. You know, through that board. Because it got memed on a little bit when it released because it did have lofty goals, and I definitely don't think it's as insane of a board as was touted. It's not the group buy board killer, but it is definitely a great value. Carbon fiber keycaps would look cool. I'm excited to receive my Fuji 65 FE soon. Ooh, nice. I think the GMMK Pro got memed on more than it necessarily deserved to because it was just fresh off the heels of the Holy Panda debacle when they tried to trademark the name Holy Panda, which was kind of IMO childish, that the way everything happened. But I'm glad it all got sorted. XDA profile keycaps. I don't know why though. Just like the concave feel. Interesting. I used to use a DSA set. That was my work board. It was DSA Pulse. But I have not used that set in a long time. In fact, I was thinking about, I got a bunch of stuff I need to like sell. And that's one of them. You'll be moving house and you'll be able to have 3 boards to bring with you. Which are those 3 boards and why? Probably my Bower, this one, my Iron 165, and then my my Baka 60. And the reasoning behind that is that, one, they're all 3 relatively different boards. You know, my Iron 165 is brass plate with Zycos switches in it, and it feels good. It's a board that was gifted to me for my birthday last year from Dave, partner on the channel here. And so it has a lot of sentimental value. The Baka 60 has Anubis switches, which is the switch that Dave and I helped bring to market. Which, if you're not familiar with those, go check them out over at canonkeys.com/mexondeck. You'll see them there, the Anubis switches. Those are, you know, it's really cool to have a product that, you know, you were, you know, had help in creating. It's also on a board that the first board Dave ever created, in the Baka 60, the initial run of just 20 of them. So it has a lot of sentimental value. And then the Bower, I just really like. It's probably my favorite board to type on. It has some other sentimental value as well. It's also got a palm plate, which is a little bit different than most Bowers. Not really like a normal option. But that would be my 3. If I had to pick 3, those would be them. Which would mean my Sirius, my Osa, and my Orange 75 would fall with the ship, so to speak. Excuse me. Funny how the G Pro Superlight is hecka expensive, but looks like a school Dell mouse with the GMMK Pro 60 Dell clock. Keyboard vibes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like it. I like that it doesn't have RGB on it. Such a waste of space, in my opinion. Like, why do I need RGB on something that I'm literally holding? That is literally covered anytime that it matters. How often do you need to change the mount? Charge the mouse? I haven't really charged it. You know, I plug it in every like week for like 30 minutes. I've only had it for about a week, but I plugged it in. It was at 60%, and that was at 60% with me being here all week using it. It was at 66, I think. It's also like one of those things. There's a lot of time that you don't use your mouse, or you don't need it to be like insanely light. You can just plug it in while you're using it when you're just like, fucking around watching like a Twitch VOD or YouTube videos or something. To be honest, I've learned to be grateful to have your own opinion. You don't need something expensive to be seen as cool. Exactly. You don't. Who cares? Do what you want. Enjoy it. If you like something, fuck it. Enjoy it. Don't literally fuck it. That's, depending on what it is, can be illegal or frowned upon. So maybe don't do that. Alright. I think we got all the boys. I think we got them all. Let's get the old VIA open. Unless what you want / like is illegal. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Brian, you are cool. And even if no one else thought you were cool, I'd still think you're cool. All right. We get VIA up here. This is the Holy Panda Switch with Jesus switches in it. The backspace. Yeah, adjust this. Cool. U does not work. Might have missed a pin there. It's okay. Oh, control. Let's do. Where is it? There it is. Wait. All right. Sorry. We gotta figure out what's going on with you. Hey, get it? Just not one to work there. Windows works. Alt's good. These are good. Commentary switches are good. Page down and home. Let's see what's going on with you. You know, I just straight up did not solder it. Just straight up missed the boy. That might be why. That may be why it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm just ignoring all hex here, and Brian. I'm doing that for you. All right. There's a lot going on with me. That's the best reason for a Switch not working, at least. Very true. Let's go back in. All right. Hey, there we go. All right. We're good. So scared when I put foam on my keyboard, I was going to mess up the USB port. Yeah. Brian is all about... If you have questions about the Holy Panda, you can always ask. Top class. Really hate RGB. Solid colors are cool. Only white or something simple. I feel you on that. I'm not a fan. On keyboards. I think it gets a little convoluted. Again, if you have a GMK set, you're not going to see it. So what's the point? Charge people $100 per Holy Panda question? Dude, if you went back to 2019, you would legitimately make some money. That's when people were paying $5 a panda. $5 a Holy. Dude, all I'm saying is, should have been a consultant for Glorious. They were making the Glorious pandas. I think this plate may be heavier. This plate PCB switch, like this, the plate assembly may be heavier than the rest of the board. About. I bought Holy Pandas. Could have bought 10 Happy Meals. Dude, Holy Pandas used to be $5 a Switch. It was a crazy time in keyboards. But they were at one point in time $5 a Switch. And there are many people who bought them at that price. Way back when it was either have Holy Pandas or eat for a week. True. Dude, $1.25 for Holy Pandas, still a great value. Or honestly, just buy the Glorious ones. Like, unless you have like severe, like personal issues with the way Glorious does things, just get the Glorious ones, man. They're good. They're solid. spend that extra money that you saved on some lube. Get yourself some lube. Trace of Base, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub. Appreciate it. Trace of Base. Did you see the sign? Did it open up your eyes? Not to mention the little buckets of other tactile switches out there. True. Like if you have a PC Baka, why not try some Anuba switches in that band, Mamma Jamma? Dude, true. There are so many fucking screws on this. Holy shit. What keyboard needs 12 screws on the bottom? Why? Why 12? Aesthetic. True. The evenness is definitely strong. Ooh, what happened? Juby. Thank you. Well, until you've taken apart a real Force R1, cannot complain about screws. I feel you. I haven't taken one apart, so I won't complain. Oh. Keyboard does have. It didn't turn on. It doesn't matter because we're not going to use it. I'm going to get this desk mat out of here. I don't want to use my build mat. Looks so glossy and moist. Sure. It's glossy and moist. Not creams. These are holy pin. A little fresh. A little freshy desk mat out here. All right. Where do I get my mouse pads? So this one, the last one is from Canon Keys, which is one of our sponsors. Go over to canonkeys.com/mechsondeck. Check it out. This one is from Kinetic Labs, which is the last link there. kineticlabs.store/mechsondeck. You pick it up over there. They've got quite a few desk mats. A couple that I really do enjoy is I like the Celestial desk mat. Looks pretty cool. This is the Sketched desk mat by Alex PSD. Alex Otos. All right. We are going to be using a set that's period correct for the board we're building. This is GMK Hyperfuse Origins. The first run. Feel like it's worth it to get period correct with it. Origins is the best GMK. Hyperfuse, don't at me. True. I agree. Hyperfuse Origins is the best. Or Hyperfuse. F8 is regular Hyperfuse. Yeah. F8 is regular Hyperfuse. Unfortunately. Or not unfortunately. I guess that's fortunately. Else I wouldn't have an F8 key. Oh. I was right. Mess my own head. Ascend. Isn't that what isn't that like GMMK's thing? Isn't that what they say? Ascend? Come on. We got it. If you don't know what that meme is, there's just the original Hyperfuse set shipped without the F8 keys for most sets. I don't like Glorious because they make being a gamer weird. I mean, I can see that. They definitely do a lot for the communities that they're involved in, though, which is nice to see. I don't know why I'm not just dumping all of the keys. Come on. We have bigger ones. Wait. Wrong. They push hard. Agree, they do. Wait, I was right. Sorry, this is a big set. There's a lot. I should have gotten the keys ready before, but I didn't know what set I was going to use until this morning. Did I think about it earlier? Not really. page down. 6. Correct 2. ISO. Glorious is far from perfect, but the GMM Cray Pro is honestly not a bad step in the right direction. Yeah, it definitely is. I would say, I would agree. Hard agree there, Brian. It is, in fact, a good step. We're going to use the hyper use. Because I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy that this set utilizes the name of the set in the keycap. I appreciate it. Wait, 1 over 0. Over with you. It's nuts to see how entry level is now versus actually 3 years ago. Dude, right? I was actually talking about that with Brian the other day of like how a you know, at the time when I got in the hobby, $100 got you like a Tada 68 in a plastic case. That was kind of shit. But that was what you got. That was what you got. Whereas now we've got things like the Power Light on the horizon. There's so many good ways to spend less than $200. Like Brian just said, exactly. So many ways to spend $200 or less. Get a good, solid keyboard. Something that doesn't break the bank. Feels good, looks good, sounds good. Because at the end of the day, look good, feel good. Feel good, play good. Play good, pay good. Pay good, live good, die good. That's how you do it. I think we have to use box. I think it doesn't have. If I remember correctly. Wordy. Boy howdy. Regular way to spend $200 on a case and buy a $100 PCB and keycaps. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, people were spending $200 on like the Corsair boards, right? Like the Corsair Platinums or whatever that people bought were also really expensive. So spending $200 on a keyboard not that crazy in the grand scheme of things. When you consider the K95 Platinum is the same price. Bruh, my RGBs. Hey, please. True. My RGBs. Dude, where is this keycap? Did I miss? did miss it. Okay. Okay. So we need page up and yep, that's right. Page down. I think that might not be right. We right. Boom. Remember when Corsair did boards with half membrane switches and half cherry Imbex? That's crazy. You know what board I do remember that a lot of people didn't like? The Ducky 1 Mini. The original one. The one that like no one cared about. And then now the 1-2 Mini was like the biggest thing ever. The 1 Mini came with a full metal case. The Ducky 1 Mini was a ballin' board at the time. The Ducky, yeah, Shine Mini, like that whole series. But no one bought it. No one cared about 60% in 2017. And then they come back around with the 1-2 Mini and everyone's like losing their shit about it. And I'm like, they just made the same board again, but cheaper. Year of the Sneck. Ducky is good, but I prefer the Anpro 2. Yeah, but this was like, this came out a year or two before the Anpro 2 did. Out of context, but a way to get a specific number count for SA press random keys. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not in school. What's a good case for my first custom keyboard? I mean, that all depends on how much money you want to spend, my guy. Anpro 2 is so classic. Agreed. Ducky Shine 108 Year of the Sneck. I like the Sneck. I had a Ducky 108 that was improperly, like it was bought and returned, so I got a deal on it. But the dude that bought it, I guess, for whatever reason, it was in a box that said cherry browns, but it had cherry reds. So for the longest time, I was like, man, if this has a tactile feel, this is really light. And then I took the keycap off one day and I was like, oh, it's because it's red, which is not tactile. But yeah, so I thought I had browns for the longest time, but in actuality, I had reds. This was before I was in, but I still knew the difference between the cherry switches. That was in like 2015, 2016. Linear gang. Had MX Blues and my Shine Mini back when cherry was the only choice. Yeah. Oh, show. All right. So this is the board. We got a little extra salt on there. I think this looks really good. I will say one thing that I do enjoy about the PVD brass plates is how when they kind of peek through, when the light hits it just right, like you see it right there, just kind of, it looks really nice. I think this looks really good. The salt is a nice touch. Yeah, the salty caps are solid. That was a cool thing that they did. I also really do enjoy accents off though, in my opinion. I feel you. What's the good price point where you get the most bang for your buck? $250 is a good price point. Honestly, man, you can get a banger of a case from like the Baka Neko 60 if you can get one, or you save up a little bit more, get something like a Brutalist. It just depends. Like if you want a bigger board, maybe save up a little bit more money, get like a a like Rect 1800 if you want a numpad, or if you want a 75%, get the, what's the 75? Can't remember the name of it. NK87's on the horizon as well. I do think though, Brian, I know you're not a fan of the accents. Devastating 75. I think you reverberate. I like that this says hyperfuse. I think more sets. It's subtle. It's nice. Although I do think the accents are a bit much. Now that I'm looking at it, the 4 is a little... Can we quickly find our ults? Okay. I'm gonna do this to please you, Brian. And because I think it'll look good too. Is a plateless build a good idea? No. Plateless builds are not a good idea. Like, there is a time and place for them. But I don't know. It is definitely a personal opinion. I don't think when we have things as flexible as polycarb, plateless builds are plateless builds are definitely a struggle. It is, especially you can try it, but I think it may not be exactly what you're looking for. IDB 60 plateless is one of my faves. No, I definitely get it. There's definitely a time or place for them. But especially if you're someone that's like, you haven't been in the community for a really long time, it can definitely be kind of a bear to do. And you can get a similar feel out of like a polycarb or a palm plate. Like, they don't really provide that much support. But a board needs to, yeah, exactly, reverberate. Plateless builds work best on boards that are designed around it. Plate switches on a PCB mount board. Yo, that is the actual worst. I saw a drop 40% with Holy Panda's plateless. That is a nightmare. That is an actual nightmare to build. Yeah, if it's designed to be plateless, then obviously, yeah, you do what the design is intended for. But I don't think it's worth it to try to force it, if that makes sense. Don't use plate mount switches. Use PCB mount switches. If you're doing plateless, do not use plate mount switches. You will literally hate your life. And your switches and your keycaps are going to be all fucking wonky, or you're going to spend like 9 years trying to figure it out. I think this looks better, but I didn't eliminate all of the accents. This is a happy medium between your no accents and my love for accents. Look at how close these are. These look fairly close on my screen, at least the greens. Pretty close. You like the Xbox? Dude, I hate the Xbox. Do you a stream where you find the most cursed images on the keyboard subreddit? I have seen people post pictures of boards that are like I've seen the plateless board picture where someone's like super stoked on it, and then like half the keys are all like wonky. Like they're all off center. I'm like, how does this even work? Also, I burned my finger and it kind of looks like a butthole. See? All right. Y'all want to hear this board, this chunk and a half? It's getting close. When's next stream? Next stream will be Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. This is a Zephyr, 78.5 gram Holy Pandas. Let's go ahead and dive in deep. And let's take a listen to this. This space bar is slappy. Is this Chewy's board? He would only ruin HPs with heavier springs. This is not Chewy's board. Chewy no longer has his Zephyr. He sold it a long time ago. The Zephyr is what ruined 65% for Dave. But no, I think this feels good. The tactility obviously is a little bit reduced because of the 78.5, but I do enjoy 78 gram Holy Pandas. I think I like 74 gram a little bit more, the 74 gram. And I imagine I would probably like 69 gram symmetric spring Holy Pandas even more. I think 69 gram symmetric springs would be chef's kiss. A lot of people think spring only affects weight. Yeah, because they're linear queens. They don't know about the tactile wasteland. It is crazy to think how many people don't realize that the spring weight affects the tactility level. Like there's a reason why you can't put like 50 gram springs in a Holy Panda. They just won't return because it's too much tactility. which is why two 78-gram springs that are different can feel very different. Yeah, exactly. Symmetric springs and very intense tactiles are a very nice combo. Agreed. I am a big fan of the symmetric springs. But yeah, boys and girls. That's it. This is the board. This is a Zephyr. This was a extremely sought after high-end board, especially in this configuration, man. Late 2018, this was the shit. This like exact setup was like the shit. Zephyr, Holy Pandas, Hyperfuse Origins. The only thing that could have been more the shit, especially in late 2018, would have been GMK Olivia on here. Then you would have been in like absolute end game territory. Or GMK Muted. That's another one. But yeah. This board is very heavy. Not very heavy. You would expect it to be somewhat heavier, but the weight is relatively small comparatively. But yeah, I will say the design aesthetic from like the angles, the way the board looks still holds test of time. Things that could be done better. These are sharp, relatively sharp edges. I wish these weren't quite as sharp. If they had a little bit more of a bevel to them, that would have been nice. But it is a very pretty board. It's very angular. But yeah. And it's a 65. Doesn't have a blocker or a badge, but it's a 65. So it still kind of fits in. It's about one of the few things that has held the test of time. But it is a very pretty board. Very, very, very pretty board. The finish on it's actually pretty nice. Looks really good. The screws on the board do really add to the look. I also like the way that they're cut out. It's using the screws, as Brian says, as an accent rather than hiding them in a hole, which I think is a nice touch. It gives it kind of like a slightly like industrial look, maybe one would say. Also, these bump on props. I like these. I like these thick boys. Give me more of these thick boys. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I think this board looks and sounds really good. I think Hyperfuse Origins looks great on this. This is like an era of board. Yeah, Wilba did a great job with this. And Zeal did a much better job running this board than he did his Xeno. Because people still don't have the Xeno. Dude, this spacebar is kind of nuts though. It's super loud. This is super obnoxious. If I took this to work, people would be so upset. All right. We're going to send y'all. Where are we going to send y'all? Let's see, who's on? Who's on? You can say Thok. HP spacebar on a 5mm brass plate. It's truly a Chad play. Exactly. Ooh, I know where we can go. And plug the keyboard in. Might help to have a keyboard plugged in. Come on. There we go. All right. I'm going to send you somewhere that is not keyboard related, but it's for a good cause. It's going to be, we're going to send you on over to oops, I'm in the wrong one. I can't do it there. We're going to send you on over to Tip of the Hats. If you're not familiar with Tip of the Hats, it has been an annual fundraising stream. This year it benefits camp1step.org. So they're doing a charity stream. It's been going on for the last couple hours, and it was going on yesterday. It goes to a good cause. People from the Overwatch community are involved. This is the last one that they're doing. That's been going on for 10 years or something like that. So go over there, check it out. If you feel like donating, definitely consider it. One of the casters from the Overwatch League, Bryn, will be getting a tattoo if they get to $69,420 donated. So definitely consider that. I would love to have him get that. But we'll see you Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.